Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back to the show. We're here today with our Friday review. So good to have you. Can't wait to get into this Friday review. My Friday reviews are always a little bit of this and a little bit of that. What I love to be able to do is share with you all of the best of health. So today I've got an old school book to review. It is a great book. It was way ahead of its time when it was first published. I'm going to share that with you, why that's pertinent, I think, today, of kind of keeping an open mind. I'm going to be giving you a product review today surrounding an item or a vitamin called vitamin K2, why you should be looking for a very specific form of not just vitamin K, which is K2, the difference between that and K1, as well as what's the most easily metabolized form of that vitamin in order to be able to help your heart and overall cardiovascular system. So I can't wait to share that. And then I've got two interesting research studies for you. The first one is the use of pesticides and why we need to be careful with this, not just as the food that we eat that it may be sprayed on, but actually for the environment itself, what that could lead to in the future. Really important that we look at that. And the second one is on improving overall recovery with a certain type of fatty acid. And so I'm going to share that with you. So these are all things that I'm big on right now that really my mindset right now is over the next 2 weeks is really debuting HPH. And I don't want to say too much about it. But again, the bottom line is like, this is what I'd love to do. I'm really excited about it. And it's something that like my two daughters see me engaged in this health-based activity that I'm going to be sharing with more and more people. And it's the next level. I mean, that's the thing is like, whatever you're into in life, whether it's cards or whether it's, I don't know, sports cars, whatever it might be, like there's that next level that gets you excited about it again. It gets you reinvigorated about it again. And for me, over the last few years, I've been looking for that thing. Like, what is that thing that reinvigorates my spark for wanting to take things to the next level? Because I was going to the gym and obviously I love going to the gym, but it's like, I've been doing this for 20 plus years and like, okay, this is fun. And, obviously I take my nutritional supplements. I really take my sleep and I've been tracking my sleep every night now for about 5-6 years. And so that's been great, but like I've been doing that for a while and then I got into heart rate variability. And what I want to do is just share with people, how do you put all that together now? Like, how do you take this to the next level where you don't just see the difference, because you'll see the difference in body transformation, but you feel the difference. And so that's kind of where all of this is going to. And another week or two, I'll debut that. I'll share what it's all about and then help you take things to the next level if you're interested. So super excited about that. That is the big update for this week for me. I got to take a little time off this March. I typically do. It's the 1 month of the year that my daughters get a school vacation, like a true school vacation, besides, of course, Thanksgiving and Christmas time. That's always a beautiful time of the year. But they get a week off. And so it's always nice to be able to travel for the weekend before, the weekend after, and take some nice time away together as a family. So I got to do that once again. And then I was, and I'll probably do a future update on this too. I will do a future update on this, but being able to attend the Peter Diamandis conference and get to be around 200 other just colleagues of mine who are amazing in the field, right? We've got Dr. David Sinclair and just so many great minds at the conference that I get to chat with, share ideas with, and really kind of see where is this industry going? What is the future of health? And that's what I love. And that's what I'm hopefully able to share with you on a daily basis of getting the body healthy and then saying, all right, this is where we're going. This is how we're going to totally optimize the human body and brain naturally though, right? Naturally, even though it is science-backed. All right, so that is that for the updates. What's going on this week over at EquiLife? Right now, we are giving away a product that not as many people know about, but they should. And those are the daily fruit and vegetable blend capsules. So there are a lot of people in the world, my dad is one of them, who do not like to eat their vegetables. They just they have a distaste of vegetables. It's not their thing. They know they're healthy, but they're still not going to eat them, right? And so the bottom line is this. You need to get 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. If you're on a lower carb diet, you're probably going to be doing more vegetables than fruit, right? I mean, that's bio-individuality. That's up to you, right? But the bottom line is that most of us then only eat the same 2 to 3 different types of vegetables or fruit every day. I'm not really radically different than that. I probably rotate mine, but in a given week, maybe I eat 10 different types or 12 different types. But what I do with the daily fruit and vegetable blend is I get 22 different fruits and vegetables and superfoods every single day that I may ordinarily not get. Plus, there's none of the carbs in it as well. So I can eat my carbs and I can get these extra phytonutrients. So for those people who want a wider variety, they want more antioxidants from whole food. Literally, if you open the capsules, it's just whole food. And it's great for kids. It's great for adults. So we're giving you away. I'm like, again, I'm not trying to sell these to you. You get a free bottle with all qualifying orders right now at StephenCabral.com/shop. StephenCabral.com/shop. You can get your veggies in capsules. I do believe that you should eat whole food, so I'm not saying that. These are great as addition to for a wider variety. They're great for travel. That's one of the biggest reasons that I keep them in my arsenal as well, my supplement arsenal. And they're great for people that just aren't going to eat their vegetables, right? Like if you're not going to eat them, you have to know yourself and you might as well get them some way. So that's how I look at it. All right. So free bottle, daily fruit vegetable blend capsules over at StephenCabral.com/shop. But also I wanted to share this with you, the debut of a new product by popular demand. At no point ever did I ever plan on coming out with a liquid vitamin D3 plus K2. And here's why. We already have a vitamin D3, and for the majority of the people in our practice that use the daily nutritional support or a daily activated multivitamin, you're already getting your vitamin K2 in that. So you don't need extra K2. You do need extra vitamin D, especially if you're not maintaining a tan year round, but you don't need the K2. But so many people have asked. So the thing is this is my job. Even if I feel like, and I'm trying to talk you out of it, even if I feel that you're already covered by taking the daily nutritional support, 2 scoops a day, or the daily activated multi, your 4 capsules a day, 2 at breakfast, 2 at dinner, and then you take your vitamin D3 every day, just 2,000 to 4,000 IUs a day, you're covered, you're good. But there are people who want their K2 with their vitamin D3. And who am I to say no? It's still a great product. It's an amazing product. So for all of those who want their D3 with K2, here it is if you're watching this on video by EquiLife. And you can get this, I believe, at 15 to 20% off today at StephenCabral.com/shop while supplies last. It is 1,000 IUs of vitamin D, which is 25 micrograms per drop, and 10 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the MK7 version, which we'll be talking about in just a moment. So how can you dose this? 2 drops to 4 drops a day. It's that easy. Honestly, right in your tongue. You can do it with breakfast. You can do it with lunch. However you want to do it. It's better to take it earlier in the day. Great for the immune system, great for the bones, great for the cardiovascular system. So you can check it out. Save 20% if you're interested in vitamin D3 with K2 at StephenCabral.com/shop. All right, podcast recap for the week. Monday's show. Hopefully that was a can't miss for you. That was episode 2607. The 10 rules of science, of the science of success by Napoleon Hill. So many people have heard of Napoleon Hill and they've heard about him okay, this is how to become more successful in business. But it's not just about that. Early in his career, it was about how to teach people to be more successful in business. But as he got older, he realized, these are universal principles. These are used to be successful at anything you want in life. And if you don't want to read the book, I gave you the synopsis at StephenCabral.com/2607. Tuesday's show, 2608, was the sodium-potassium ratio, right? So much more important than just should you avoid salt. So I believe the title of the show is Should You Avoid Salt? Check that out. You're going to find it very interesting because it comes back to bio-individuality, whether you're dealing with health issues, and what does your diet look like? So definitely check that out. Wednesday's show was a new intermittent fasting study that was wildly interesting. I broke it down for you on 50% of the people in this study reversed their type 2 diabetes. 50%. And it was only 12 weeks. I mean, it's worth checking out for sure. And then yesterday's show was overcoming fatigue by managing allostatic load. And if you've never heard about allostatic load before, it is a term that I believe that you should get to know. So check that out. No matter who you are, trust me, you'll be able to create more energy after listening to that show. All these shows are, of course, free every single day, a brand new podcast at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right. Product review of the week. Before we do our book review, the product review, because I want to get to it, is vitamin K. So in general, vitamin K is important in everyone's diet. And everyone should get a certain percentage. So basically look at like 100 to maybe 200% of the RDA a day in vitamin K. So it helps with blood clotting and it prevents excessive bleeding. So again, just be careful, right? Because if you already have blood clots, maybe something like worth looking into. I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis on this show. Only the all-powerful conventional medicine can do that. So if you ever want a medical diagnosis, medical treatment plan, or medical cure, if there are any from conventional medicine, please do speak with your local PCP. All right, but and all kidding aside, and again, you know I'm just tongue-in-cheek with this because I do believe in, of course, conventional medicine for acute-based care, but trust me, if you have a chronic-based health issue, you need to find yourself a good integrative health practitioner. That's the bottom line. You need to figure out what the underlying root causes are. We'll be talking about that in our book review as well. So, all right, vitamin K, good for blood clotting, stopping excessive bleeding, good for bone health, bone density, osteoporosis, fractures, good for overall health of the heart. That's basically all cardiovascular. It's amazing for the arteries. May reduce the risk of heart-based issues as well. Good for brain function and cognition. May, underline that, may help prevent cancer and improve cancer-based outcomes, helps with healthy skin and slowing the aging-based process, and also helps with healthy levels of inflammation. So typically you'll see vitamin K, or just that stands for essentially K1, on a lot of multivitamins. You need vitamin K. I'm not saying you don't need K1. What I'm saying is this, you want K2 in there. Because K1, although great, is more for blood clotting. Like that's really more what we think of that K1 for, right? Like, oh, as an infant, we want to give them their K1, toe prick or whatever it might be. So again, that's how conventional medicine thinks about it. But there's a family, and vitamin K2 is much better for bone health, overall osteoporosis, heart health, cardiovascular benefits, inflammation, and much more. So in an ideal world, you'll get both, but K2 is the preferred form. Now, I told you I wanted to teach you a little bit something about K2 as well. There's a specific form that you want to look for, and it's called menaquinone, and it stands for MK, or basically MK stands for menaquinone. So on the back of a label, because I want you to be able to read your own nutritional supplement labels. So on the back of the label, it'll say MK, it'll say K2, and then the version of K2 will often say MK-7. or something like that. So that's menaquinone, and it is a much more absorbable form for the body. And a lot of people don't know this, but MK7 actually has a longer half-life. That means it stays in the body longer and enables you to then absorb more and get more benefits. So just wanted to share that with you here today. When you're looking for, you can look in the back of the Daily Nutritional Support. Of course, we're a functional medicine company. We have it, or the Daily Activated Multi, or even the vitamin D3 and K2 that I spoke about earlier. All of those have the vitamin K2, and they have the MK7. Now, one other interesting note is that K2 doesn't even count towards your RDA, which is pretty wild, right? Because the US government just looks at the cheapest form, the vitamin K1, and that's what they look at. So if you want a full multi, then you need to look at the K1. Anyway, we have both in there, and so you're getting the best of all worlds. All right. Wanted to share with you now, and again, let me know if you ever have questions. I just want to make sure that I give you enough on the topic, and if you already know it, great. If you want to go deeper, we're always happy to help. So book review, and if you're watching this on video, and I appreciate you if you're subscribed to our YouTube video, but you'll see this book, and you can see the yellow on this side. This was actually yellow. That's how faded it is from my bookshelf. And unfortunately, when I was in my Boston office, I used to get lots of sun on my bookshelf. Nothing I could do about it, and faded a lot of these book jackets. But this one is called Life Beyond 100. And the Secrets of the Fountain Youth by Norman Shealy, MD, PhD. So I read this book many, many years ago. Let's say 2007. It came out in 2005, written by a medical doctor who really got into all sorts of different natural health-based practices. I'm talking about, big on nutritional supplements for sure, but talked about everything from like PEMF, talked about electromagnetic frequencies, talked about transdermal magnesium, which wasn't as common back then, talked about crystals, like all sorts of things, acupuncture. So really kind of went deep on overall natural health, which is always great to see. Now, what I want to share with you is this. So I think it's a fascinating book because here's the thing. He gives you all of this information in 200 pages. So it's kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, talks about deficiencies, talks about stretching, talks about magnesium, acupressure points, longevity, the downfalls of conventional medicine only, like really interesting things. And so it is a good book. It's worth reading. Now, keep in mind, though, it was written almost 20 years ago. And so a lot has changed in 20 years. Like you're talking about the beginning of really functional medicine or so in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so this was written shortly thereafter. The internet's becoming bigger in 2000 or so, 2001. And so this was written shortly thereafter. What I want to share with you is it's a bit reductionistic in the end of how he's treating, and I'm using that in air quotes, even though he is a medical doctor, different diseases. Like, for example, like chronic fatigue, take this supplement, do this. But we don't know the underlying root cause of the chronic fatigue. What if it's intestinal permeability? What if it's mast cell activation syndrome? What if it's parasites? So on all of the treatment plans, take it with a grain of salt because, and it's not really their fault. Like first of all, typically it's blood work and blood work's not going to look for these things. And so they may not even known about functional medicine at-home lab testing. But the other thing is that I'm sure the author 20 years later has more and other like relevant thoughts as well. So just be careful following the treatment plans at the end, use the information, and then just say, oh yeah, this is interesting. I didn't even hear about that. So again, if you want to read the book, overall, it's great. That's why I'm recommending it. It's a fun read. I'm talking a lot more about longevity and anti-aging in the future. And it just kind of opens your mind to all sorts of different things, but always take everything with a little bit of grain of salt. I think that's probably a wise idea in general. Always look for the underlying root cause. And if it doesn't tell you the underlying root cause, then be careful because I don't actually recommend treating anything with just nutritional supplements. It's part of the de-stress protocol. De-stress protocol is 8 parts. Supplements is only 1 part. Look for the underlying root cause always. All right, research for the week. This is a disturbing one. This came out of the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA. Here's what they reported. Over 93%, almost 100%, of endangered species and 96%, so almost 100%, of their habitats are likely to be harmed by glyphosate, which is, they call it a ubiquitous and controversial herbicide. Okay, so glyphosate is probably something you've heard about by now. It is affecting humans, animals, and now the Environmental Protection Agency is saying it's harming our environment as well. It is harming the bee population, which is harming the pollination of plants, of everything that bees help with in the environment as well. And that's just one. Like you could say, well, that's controversial. Sure, it is controversial, right? But you're also seeing mothers passing glyphosate to their unborn children. You're seeing glyphosate and again, so you don't have to believe me. You can literally do a urine sample from an infant and find glyphosate. It can be in breast milk. It can be in other areas. So what I'm saying is this. As a people, we have to start saying no to anything made with glyphosate and Roundup. We have to start saying no to it. Because if we continue to purchase the products, then we are saying yes by default. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect either. We just have to do less of it, purchase less of those things, be exposed to less of them. And that's my best thing. And then, of course, what do we need to do? Well, we need to continue to do quarterly detoxes, right? Like that's such an important thing. We have our quarterly detox going on now, right? A functional medicine detox. This is the spring season one. Every quarter is just a game changer. If you don't know what a functional medicine detox is, I I invite you to learn more about it. We have a free detox course at stephencabral.com/detox-course, or just stephencabral.com/courses. Click on the detox course. It's completely free. And then if you feel like it's the right fit for you, I mean, start with the 21-day if you can. That's at stephencabral.com/detox. So it's up to you, but I'm telling you right now, anything and everything we need to do to get this stuff out of our environment, or we're going to destroy the species on this planet, the environment. And trust me, if we destroy the species and when we destroy the environment, well, humans are next. All right. On a higher note, right? And I purposely did that. I was like, we need a higher note here at the end of the podcast. This one goes back to omega-3s and recovery. Now, you can get this from wild fish or you can get it from supplementation, but this is really important to check out. So I'm going to read you the direct quote. Athletic recovery can be improved by omega-3s. If you experience poor exercise recovery, meaning like you feel terrible after weight workouts, and you like the next day you suffer from inflammation, brain fog, flu-like symptoms, achy joints, a lot of those myalgic encephalomyelitis or fibromyalgia-based symptoms, adding omega-3s to your diet provides significant benefits, says this study. So brand new research, exciting research involving just regular everyday people demonstrated that taking omega-3s, this was 600 milligrams, so low dose, 600 milligrams of EPA and 260 milligrams DHA for 8 weeks, so 2 months, led to faster recovery rates by reducing the time it takes for the muscles to adapt to training. So again, if you're someone that has poor exercise tolerance, you don't do well with overexertion, like even just, again, regular stamina, omega-3s can help you adapt faster. Amazing. Why? Well, I'll get to that in just a moment, but it has to do with protein synthesis and balancing cytokines. I'll talk about probably these pro-mediators in the future, but basically you're mediating, you're balancing the immune system. Like that's a big part of it with inflammation and recovery. All right, but check this out. So participants who supplemented with the EPA and DHA displayed a quicker return to peak strength and full range of motion and reported less post-exercise soreness compared to the control group. And then another study with older adults who are more susceptible to inflammation and poor recovery used a higher dose of omega-3s, about let's see here. They used about 800. This one is 3 grams. They used about 3 times as much, 1.86 EPA and 1.5 DHA. And they showed stimulated muscle protein synthesis, so better metabolism. And they also showed a good balance in recovery. So this is interesting because this is something that we see in our practice all the time. And it's amazing then to be able to back it up by science. So the first omega-3 study, regular young people, they used about 1 capsule, like serving size of daily omega-3 support. Even our 1 capsule is stronger than that. But then the older adults use the equivalent to about 3 capsules of what we have for our daily omega-3 support. Why is this important? Because I've said this over and over. You can go back 7 years in the Cabral concept. Higher EPA to DHA is much better for using omega-3s. I want to state that again. A higher EPA to DHA supplement is better than a higher DHA to EPA. And I did not know that because back in the day before 2010, before I started doing omega-3 testing, we always used higher DHA because that's what everybody recommended. But what they didn't realize is that EPA converts better to DHA. That's the bottom line. Your body needs more DHA, body uses the EPA to create more DHA. Like that's it. It works so much better. We have all the labs to be able to back that up, of course, 10,000 plus. So just on inflammation labs. And so, well, you can find an inflammation lab, you find out your own, if you think your omega-3s are perfect, great, just test that. Again, I always say just don't guess, test. You can go to stephencabral.com/shop and just click on the labs tab, look at the omega-3 inflammation test. And then if you want these same results, again, we're not providing any medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, etc. Just check out the daily omega-3 support. Now, how can you get this through whole food? You can. It's about 3 to 5 sardines 4 days a week will get you about these same results. I've lab tested that as well. So it can be anchovies, mackerel, sardines, wild salmon, not farmed, wild salmon or wild trout. Those I've seen clinically eaten 4 to 5 times a week will get you these benefits as well. So your choice, the wild fish, sardines especially, or daily omega-3 support. They're both going to get you the results. Bottom line is, I started doing this myself, and I take 2 capsules a day, 2 soft gels a day, and I get the same results. And that's what I'm looking for. Better recovery, especially as I age. Because I'm not getting any younger chronologically, biologically, hopefully so. All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning into the Cabral Concept. I thank you. I appreciate your support. And tomorrow, I'll be back answering your questions on our weekend Cabral House Calls. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at EquiLife, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquiLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.